Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something just because you were afraid of what people might think? Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Be Affirmation podcast. My name is Ladette, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about why we care so much about external validation and how we can put that to an end. So, before we get into today's episode, I have a story time for you guys. There was a time where your girl was really seeking external validation to the point where I was trying to buy it, y'all. Like, I would literally try to go and buy people's love for me and people's attention. And it's just crazy to me because I'm like, in what world would I do that now? Like, I wouldn't. But there was a boy in high school who I really liked, and I just really wanted his attention, and I never got it. So I threw a party at my parents' house, and this particular boy came, and he lost money. He lost like $50. Like, I guess either it fell out of his pocket or and then someone stole it. Like, I don't remember exactly how that went down. I just remember he lost $50 at my party. And it's crazy because I just remember internalizing, like, oh my God, he's gonna be so pissed at me. Like, now he'll never like me because he lost $50 at my party. Like, he's gonna be so upset. And so I went out of my way to take out $50 and I gave it to him the following Monday. And I told him, like, oh, I found it. Like, it was in the basement. Like, you must have dropped it. And I guess forgot about it there or whatever. Like, I was making no sense. Like, I was just making some bullshit up. And he laughed. Like, I remember him kind of laughing at it, like, oh, okay, well, like, I'll take it. And he took it, and that was it. And that did not buy his love for me. That did not buy his attention. Like, he could care less. Like, that man could care less about me. And it's just so crazy that I went out of my way to do that. And it wasn't just with this guy. I mean, there were friendships, other men, whatever, that I would go and like shower these people with gifts, or I would try to buy their love and affection for me, which I think is kind of sad, right? Because we shouldn't be out here chasing people's love to the point where we're trying to buy it. That's not real love at the end of the day. And honestly, it just affected me so much because I just remember sitting there and being sad about it. Like, why doesn't he like me? Why don't I have friends who I feel like genuinely care about me? Like, seeking that validation can be so crippling because it makes you wonder what's wrong with you. It can make you feel like worthless. It can make you feel like crap. And so it's just really important for all of us to learn how to give ourselves that validation. And I think it really helps to understand why we seek external validation in order for us to check it. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, I really want to stop chasing for love. I really want to stop, being obsessed with like being the cool one or whatever. I really feel like it helps to take a step back and ask yourself, why do we seek external validation? Like, why as like a society, right? Because it's not just you, it's not just me who has struggled with this. A lot of us do. It's a societal thing. We're literally wired for social acceptance, even from childhood. So we're taught to seek approval from our parents, from our teachers, from our friends. So it's just kind of something that's conditioned in us. We don't want to be the odd one out. We don't want to be the one that's outcasted. We don't want to be the one that's frowned upon in our community and our society. So I think it really helps to understand that part of the reason why we want to be accepted is because we're conditioned from a very young age to want to be accepted. The other reason why we seek external validation is because of that fear of rejection, which I think all of us can relate to. Our brains actually associate rejection with danger, even though in reality, rejection doesn't harm us. And I love that saying that rejection is just redirection. I love that because if someone doesn't like you, if someone doesn't want you, if someone doesn't accept you the way that you are, that has nothing to do with you, more so their preference. So like in my example with that boy I was giving money to for free, which is crazy to me still to this day, if he didn't like me, which he didn't, that had nothing to do with my worth. That had nothing to do with me, and more so his preference. Maybe he didn't like girls that were younger than him. Maybe he didn't like girls that were African American. I don't know. I can't be mad about those things though. It is simply that person's preference, and that has nothing to do with me. So oftentimes, we're out here seeking that validation and acceptance from other people because we just don't want to feel rejected. We don't want to feel disposable. We don't want to feel like we were kicked out of the group or that we were just not valued enough to be part of the group, whatever said group is. Another reason why we seek external validation is because of social media. Ooh, social media, y'all. Like, I do love social media because I feel like in so many ways it brings us together. I do feel like there are a lot of positive aspects to being on social media, but at the same time, how many times, y'all, have y'all sought out those likes and those comments? And the shares or the DMs, right? Like, I know if I'm being honest, there were so many times I posted like thirst traps, pictures of me in the gym and like my sports bra and my shorts, like looking good, but in doing it intentionally because I wanted to see who's gonna like my story, who's gonna slide in my DMs, who's gonna try to talk to me. And that is the wrong reason to be making those type of posts. Like, if I want to post an outfit because simply I feel good and I'm feeling confident, that's totally different. But there were times where I was posting seeking out specifically likes and comments and DMs from men. That constant validation cycle makes us dependent on external validation. I mean, there were so many times where I literally was posting because I wanted the likes. Like, that is a perfect example. And then another reason why we seek validation is because we don't have our own inner validation. If we've never learned how to validate ourselves, and if we don't make it a priority to learn it, we're gonna always look for it externally. So unless you learn how to say, you know what, I am enough, how to compliment yourself, how to cheer yourself on, how to just live your life and have the experiences you want to have, if you can't learn how to do those things, unfortunately, you're going to always want that attention and approval from other people. So in other words, if we can't fill our own cup, it's never going to be enough. We're always going to be chasing something. But there's hope, you guys. There's hope. Just because you're someone who's seeking external validation or someone who chases approval from other people doesn't mean you can't change. It doesn't mean that you can't start giving that to yourself. And I hope I'm an example of that. Like, I was literally trying to buy people's love, and now I don't care. I don't care who wants to be in my life. I love myself enough to give myself the life I want to have, whether I'm single or in a relationship. And there's so much power in that transformation. And if I can do it, you can do it. So this is what you're gonna do. I want you to start recognizing when you seek approval. So the next time that you want to do something, let's just say, for example, posting a picture on social media. Say you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, and you want to post your two-piece, like, do you? But say that you're in that moment where you're like, okay, wait, am I doing this because I want to do it for likes and attention? Or am I doing it because I actually feel really good about myself right now? I also want you to practice validating yourself. So before you do the thing that you want to do, before you post the picture, whatever it is, ask yourself, can I give this to myself without the need or approval of someone else's? So say you want to book a solo trip, for example, okay? But you're like, ooh, what are people going to think? What's my family going to think? What if they think like I shouldn't go? What if they're worried about me? I want you to ask yourself, are you going to stop that trip? Are you not going to go on that trip because you're worried what other people are going to say? Or are you going to go ahead and tell yourself you're courageous enough and brave enough to go and that your life is your decision? Like, it's really whatever you feel like you need to ask yourself in this scenario. But whatever it is, validate yourself. I'm brave enough too. I'm courageous enough too. I'm beautiful enough too. I love myself enough too. Whatever affirmation you got to tell yourself, go ahead. Okay, come here. I'm recording on my bed because I like the lighting in this angle. And here's my cat, Jupiter, wanting to make an appearance because she has to make an appearance. You want to say hi to the people? Well, if you're listening to the podcast on audio, you're going to have to go to the video so you can see my cat. This is Jupiter. Okay, bye-bye. See ya. Okay, so the next thing, you're going to reduce your social media usage. I'm not saying don't check the apps at all. I'm just saying reduce it. Especially if you're someone who you feel like a lot of the times that you are comparing yourself to other people, or if you feel like a lot of the times you're seeking validation is through the apps, this is more so for you. Because if you feel like you're on social media and you feel bad because you see people that you want to be like and you're not like them, whatever, then hold back. Hold back on how much you use those apps. And if it helps, unfollow people. Like, go on an unfollow spree and delete, remove whoever you need to remove. And follow the accounts, follow the people, follow the motivational stuff, like the things that make you feel good about yourself. The next thing, okay, if you want to learn how to stop seeking other people's approval and how to stop chasing validation from others, you're gonna have to be okay with being uncomfortable. It's not easy, I know, especially when you're doing something new. You gotta just learn how to sit with your discomfort, which can look like so many things, right? I mean, discomfort can be anything, but when you feel uncomfortable, just sit with it. What are those feelings trying to tell you? What are those feelings trying to teach you? There's always a lesson in any sort of discomfort you experience. When I took my first solo trip, there was discomfort. I got through it and I realized I have power in being able to have experiences I want to have without a friend, without a boyfriend. Like, I can do these things alone and still live my life to the fullest potential. There's power in that for me. So whatever discomfort you're experiencing, sit with it. And then the next thing you're gonna do is date yourself. Okay, I love talking about this now. This has been like my jam the last couple videos I've done on my YouTube channel, but date yourself. Build a relationship with yourself. A relationship isn't just about you and another physical person. You can be in a relationship with yourself because essentially that's how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you love yourself, how you respect yourself, how are you treating yourself, and start making that positive. Start treating yourself the way you would treat a romantic partner. And when you start doing that, when you start loving yourself that deeply, you start to care less and less what other people think of you and more what you think of you. And at the end of the day, that is the most important relationship you can have. It's the one that you have with yourself. So I have a homework assignment for you guys. I want you to just pick one thing. What's one thing that you can do for yourself this week? And I want you to base it purely off of what you want, okay? Not what anyone else wants, not what your partner wants, not what your parents want, not what your kids want. I want you to do something for yourself this week that you want. You want to go and take a day trip? Go ahead. You want to go and do self-care day? Go ahead. You want to go to the movies? Go ahead. But start honoring your feelings. Start honoring what you need to give yourself. Not about anybody else. Forget everybody else. And just start showing up for yourself. Start showing up for what you want and give yourself the life that you deserve. No one has to get in the way of that. And if you're wanting something a little bit extra, like a tangible something to help you with this, I do have a free worksheet on my Patreon account, which is also a free membership. So you guys can find the information linked in the description. Once you sign up for your free membership, you'll have access to the worksheets that I have in there. And I'm making these because I genuinely care about your guys' growth. And I want anyone listening to just have a tangible activity or worksheet or just thing that they can do to really hone in on the topics that we talk about. And that's for my podcast and for my YouTube channel. So go and access that worksheet and give yourself the time to really sit with the questions and reflect and be so present with that experience, whether it's a solo date or just going to the park, whatever, but just really show up for yourself. And before we end today's episode, y'all know we got some affirmations. I have 8 of them for us today. So let's get into them. We're gonna go ahead and take a deep breath in together for 4. Hold for 4. Breathe out for 4. And hold for 4. And if you want, you can place your hand over your heart. I like to have my hand over my heart because I just feel like I connect deeper to the words that I'm saying. And you can say them out loud or internally in your mind. And if you happen to be watching today's video on YouTube, I'm going to say the affirmations, and then after I say them, I'm going to close my eyes for a couple seconds just because that's how I connect with the words that I'm saying. So if anyone's watching, you're going to see me close my eyes for a little bit. But with that being said, let's begin. I trust myself to make the best decisions for me. I am enough as I am. My worth is not determined by other people's opinion of me. I feel confident and secure in my choices. I choose to live authentically and unapologetically. What others think of me is none of my business. I validate myself, and that is more than enough. I let go of the fear of judgment and embrace myself fully. Alright, you guys, those are our affirmations. I encourage you to repeat those as often as you'd like. I'll have them in Patreon. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode. You can reach out to me through the Be Affirmation podcast. And if there's one thing that you take away from this episode, it's that I just hope you remember the validation that you seek from others, you can give yourself. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!